Hi, this is Christine with Where's Watson. Today I'm very pleased to be turning the camera around to talk to Ken Steele from Eduvation.
Yes.
And Ken actually has his own uh, video and podcast media conglomerate, but is most well known for being a higher ed futurist in Canada. Perhaps the most well-known
No
higher
one
ed
else wants to call themselves
futurist.
that.
Well, we're so pleased to have Ken here because I watch Ken and I participate in conversations with higher education leaders across Canada, facilitated by Ken, because he's always thinking about what's coming. What do we need to be thinking about as post-secondary organizations? And so he's here in Manitoba. We've been very pleased to have him at RRC Polytech today. And so I'm very pleased to be welcoming him to Where's Watson for the first time. So welcome.
It's an
Ken.
honor. I've watched the show. Now I'm seeing how the cheese gets made or something.
That's
Yeah,
right. So Ken, as a futurist for post-secondary education, um, as you're thinking about what's coming for RRC Polytech as a new polytechnic, but obviously as an organization who's had an 80 plus year history, what do we need to be thinking about as an organization? What do you see coming, and what, especially in terms of enrollment and demographics, what are some of the things that you'd like to share about what you think the leaders, employees, faculty need to be thinking about as we're planning ahead?
So I've spent 4 hours talking about everything we need to think about going forward. So this is a distilled version, but I think for polytechnics, for RRC specifically, but broadly for higher ed, we need to be conscious that we're entering a turbulent time where every week new announcements about AI and robotics are changing the labor market, where every minute we turn around, we're experiencing more and more diverse students on our campuses who come from all kinds of countries, all kinds of linguistic backgrounds. They have different levels of ability. We've got Indigenous students, first generation students, and institutions are becoming more conscious of the need to support them, offering universal design for the courses, offering support services, offering sort of streamlining and making the bureaucracy of the institution more friction-free for students to interact with. So,
Yeah.
I think a lot of what we're talking about in today has been about how we streamline that process to encourage students at every step, from thinking about post-secondary to enrolling to persisting and graduating, and how we remove the barriers to them moving through the pathway to a career. I also really think the important thing to realize going forward is that we're going to have a lifelong need to keep retraining, whether we like that or not.
Yeah.
That I spend 4 hours a day just trying to keep up with things. Life is going to require us to keep learning. So we need to instill a lifelong love of learning by probably changing how the system works from elementary and secondary on in. But B, we need to figure out how, as an institution, to provide modular, flexible micro-credentials and options for alumni, for graduating students, for folks who've been out in the workforce for a long time, to upskill, reskill, catch up, sharpen their skills, pursue what they want to, find what they want to learn in a quick and efficient way. So there's a bunch of those kind of issues, I think, around flexible delivery of programs and modular programs that students can take as they need them, and finding ways to help them succeed. There's so many good ideas out there. I think we've also really been emphasizing hard the need to have data that if we have data that tells us where we're losing students, where they're having trouble persisting, how we can best support them, then we can prioritize our energies. Because as a public sector organization, polytechs don't have infinite resources to spend on everything at once. So where is the greatest bang for our buck in terms of interventions to help students succeed, to help faculty members adapt, to help our programs evolve? That's all very exciting over the next decade. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'll be watching Where's Watson all the time to see where you're going next, because I think there's going to be new places to go.
Yeah.
Every month.
Yes. And I think one of the big things that I took away, in addition to all of the things that we talked about was the role of the entire institution in the recruitment and retention of students. That it's not just the recruiters, it's not
Right.
just the faculty. It really is in a whole college, a whole polytechnic approach, from the way that you present yourself through your facilities, the way that we
Mm-hmm.
design programs, the way that they're interacting with enrollment services or advisors. I mean, I think it came home to me, and was really I think illustrated through the number of people we had at your sessions about the importance of the whole polytechnic coming together to really understand what it takes to both attract students and then retain them and move them into lifelong learning and a real loyalty around their
Yeah.
experience at the college, and how we ensure that they keep coming back to us as their choice for education.
There isn't anybody working for RRC who doesn't impact students' enrollment and retention and success somehow.
Yeah.
I've been to lots of campuses where I notice, small campuses, where I notice if I'm there for a week, the cafeteria service or the coffee shop counter person will recognize me, know what I want, say good morning. And that has an impact on you just right away, right? Uh, as a Star Trek fan, I can't not mention Star Trek. Um, I'm reminded that the groundskeeper at Starfleet Academy had this powerful impact on Jean-Luc Picard. That every person on campus could have more impact they know by just a word or a glance to a student to encourage them to keep them persisting. It's that human connection that matters so much, despite all the technology we've been talking about. That ultimately, that sense that you matter at a place, that people notice if you don't show up or that you're starting to falter, that's what keeps people on track. And I think that is a critical, yeah, it's one of my favorite slides that shows sort of how everything from groundskeeping to convocation impacts how students proceed through and how they feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you
good
most
point.
excited about in terms of the future of higher ed, and what are you most worried about?
This month, I mean, I worry a bit about nuclear war and various other things, but I think AI is on the radar this year as a
Yeah.
really disruptive force.
Yeah.
Watched a demo of Microsoft Copilot that could put me out of work really fast if it lives up to its billing. We'll see what happens. The ability to distill information, to turn it into a PowerPoint instantly. AI is going to change the world a lot in the next couple of years. Um, what I'm most excited about, though, is the way that AI can augment student learning. So whether we're talking about adaptive textbooks or we're talking about sort of systems that can tutor a student through a material as they go, it gives a student sort of very one-on-one pathway through the material and can even gamify it. So you're starting to, you've solved certain levels in the game and you keep working till you solve the rest of them. I think we see a lot of teenage males who don't make it through math, for example, because they quickly get a sense of shame and frustration and they give up. And yet they will play a video game where they get killed 1,000 times and they just respawn, try that level again. Their
Yeah.
friends did it, so can they. That if you can change the learning experience to one where you're not discouraged by being told that you are an ABCDE student,
Right.
you're told you've mastered these things and these are the next ones to work on. It changes
It
back
lowers
to a
the risk.
focus.
Yeah.
You're back to a focus on learning instead of grading, right? And I think I'm hopeful about that, but it is a tough shift because our whole system's built around grades. So yeah, it's coming, but they're both driven by AI. So I guess that's the up and down side
Yeah. Yeah.
of what's coming.
Wonderful. Well, Ken, it's been absolutely a pleasure to have you at RRC Polytech. I hope that we can continue to have these conversations. I know that you'll be driving, our thoughts around what's coming and how, as an organization, we can best serve our students, both current, future, and beyond. So thank you so
Yeah,
much for being on Where's
my
Watson
pleasure.
today.
Thank you, Christine.
Take care.
All right.